Hey guys, I first off apologize for my video where I was explaining where I had been, how there was a bad echo in that. I had two mic sources turned on somehow on my OBS studio, so I apologize for that. I feel like every time I am away from the OBS studio for a while, it kind of defaults back and I kind of have to figure it out again. And I'm not the most technologically savvy person, so that's probably part of my problem. But anyway, hopefully this video will be better. That's what I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I want to share my screen because I have some things to show you guys. So my topic in this video is going to be the topic of retrospective aging, which is basically asking why people in previous eras looked older than their age. Um, that's basically what it's asking. Vsauce has a really good video on this. I will link his video in the description. I watched it and, formulated some of my thoughts and opinions. And this isn't going to necessarily answer anything. Nothing, has been proven, so to speak, but this is definitely an interesting topic for discussion. And I think that, you guys will hopefully enjoy this. So, first up, you can see this picture on this Distractify article. I will also link this in the description. Um, this is so the guy on the right is George Wendt. I think that's how you say his name. He was 33 in Cheers, which he looks so much more middle-aged, I guess, than, you would think. So this is an article, 25 photos that prove people in the past aged way faster than today. And I think one of the first things is to look at old family photos. And I know that, for example, my grandparents, I'm pretty sure my grandma was 21 and my grandpa was 27 when they got married. And they look so much older. Like, they look at least 35. Even though they were in their 20s. So, yeah, there are some things that I personally think contribute to that, and I will discuss them as this video goes along. So, kind of like this first example on this article, this Twitter user, I think it's Twitter, looks like it. Anyway, this is a picture of his parents when they were 23. I'm gonna try to make this bigger for you guys. Again, I will link it below so you can see. I don't know if that's much better or not. But they definitely look older than 23. They look like they're 40-ish. Was it the clothes they were wearing, the hairstyles, the fact that the photo is in black and white, but the pleated pants up to his chest is one thing. The receding hairline at 23 years old is another thing. Next up we have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This is him in his high school yearbook. Although he looks much older than high school, doesn't he? There are a few pictures of The Rock as a young man floating around the internet, and if I'm being totally honest, they're not enough. We need more. We deserve them. That pencil-thin Gomez Adams mustache really is something else. Yeah, I was going to say that mustache is very... And Gomez Adams mustache is a perfect description of it. It's that pencil-thin... I suppose it would look good on some people, but it's a very... what I would consider an outdated style. John Ratzenberger and George Wendt. George Wendt was 33 in the first season of Cheers. John Ratzenberger was 34. Yeah, so, like, John Ratzenberger to me looks like he's 50. And George Wendt looks early 40s. I mean, neither of them look bad. It's just they do not look like they're in their early 30s. George Wendt, I can kind of believe because even though he's in an old man's suit, he sort of has a baby face. But John Ratzenberger, 34 years old, what happened to him? This was an interesting one. Okay, so Wilford Brimley was 50 in Cocoon. Tom Cruise was 56 in the latest Mission Impossible. So, let me look up Wilford Brimley Cocoon. I've read this article before. I read it when I was researching for this video, and it's amazing. So this is 50-year-old Wilford Brimley, believe it or not. Hopefully that's coming up okay on the screen. But yeah, doesn't he look old? Like he looks 70. And then Tom Cruise in the 2019, because this was the time of the Twitter post, Mission Impossible. So Tom Cruise was 56 in that movie. And that's what 56-year-old Tom Cruise looks like. Isn't that amazing? I just find this topic so interesting. I actually came across it while I was sick. Well, I was one of those days I was in bed with body aches. I actually came across this and I found it super interesting. So anyway, the comment on the Tom Cruise Wilford Brimley comparison says, it's a little bit unfamiliar to compare Tom Cruise to anyone, but the difference between him at 56 and Wilford Brimley at 50 is staggering. Many in the comments are citing the proliferation of cigarettes and alcohol in those days as the reason people looked so much older then. That's definitely got to be part of it. I have my own thoughts on that. I will get into it once I get through this article. Sir Bobby Charlton, that's a picture of him, 32. That receding hairline will get you every time. Several people included soccer. I think it means including. Several people, including soccer players from the 60s and 70s, on this list because they looked so much older for some reason. I cannot believe Sir Bobby Charlton was only 32 in this picture. He looks like Paul Simon's cranky older brother. This one does not have a picture to go with it, so I will skip that one. Oh, Jim Croce. If you guys watch my reaction channel, you know I love Jim Croce. He died at 30, and yes, he does look older than, he could definitely pass for at least 40. He definitely looks middle-aged for 30. And I want to say he had just turned 30 also. I'd have to look that up for sure, but I feel like he was a young 30-year-old. It's not like he was about to turn 31. He was a young 30-year-old. Just for reference, I'm currently 28. I'll be 29 in about 4 months, and I feel like I look like way younger than him. Okay, Jim Croce definitely looks older than 30, but if you take off his mustache or twirl the ends of it with wax, he kind of looks like every Williamsburg hipster in 2019. Sorry, it's just the truth. Okay, the day the music died. Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper, ages 23, 17, and 28 respectively at the time of death. Buddy Holly looks so young compared to the other two. This is truly insane. If I was presented with these pictures and asked to guess their ages, I would have, with no hesitation, said Buddy Holly was 16. Yep. Richie Valens was 33. And the Big Bopper was also 33. Buddy Holly looks like a child. He really kind of does. He reminds me of like a teenage guy from the 1950s. Like he could fit in on the TV show Happy Days. My grandmother was only in her mid-50s in this picture. My dad was 26. Wow. Mid-50s and they look like they're 80. This phenomenon is particularly dramatic in people's family photos for some reason. The craziest part is that the baby is only 2 months old. Okay, I made that up. Oh, I see what they mean. So say, geez. My parents are about the same age as the grandparents in these photos, and they look way younger than this. Otis Nixon was 36 here. Okay, his head is cut off, so we can't tell. John Tenta, 26. Ooh. He looks rough for 26. I mean... Sorry, I'm going to be kind of blunt in this video, probably. Wrestlers do a lot of crazy things to their bodies, but 26? 26? There is probably no point in history at which he would look 26 years old. He probably came out of the womb with that beard. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of... What's his name from Duck Dynasty? They're, Martin. I was going to say the younger guy that works in the duck call room. Martin. He looks like Martin from Duck Dynasty. Kind of. A little bit, you know, that first glance. Pat Morita. Ah, he was on Happy Days, and then he was in The Karate Kid. Ralph Macchio? Sorry, I'm not familiar with that name. Is about the same age now that Pat Morita was at the time of The Karate Kid. This cannot be. To be fair, Ralph Macchio has always had an extreme baby face, but still these two do not seem like they are the same age at all. Maybe it's because Ralph Macchio waxes on more than Pat Morita, if you know what I mean. I don't even know what I mean. Okay, noted. No picture with that one. Greg Ogden, 19. Wow. He looks so... He looks so 35-esque. I am often dumbfounded by athletes' appearance when I am watching college sports. I think today some of them are super seniors who redshirted for a year or so and they're really 20 or 21. But the fact that Greg Ogden is 19 in this photo is bonkers. There's actually been cases where there have been like 19 or 20-year-olds playing high school basketball. I can make a video on that if you guys want me to. That's another kind of interesting. Ah, All in the Family. I was going to point this out. O'Connor was actually only 47 when All in the Family started. Harrelson is a decade older, but looks 2 decades younger. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I think the couple in All in the Family was supposed to be like in their mid to late 40s, I want to say. And they look like way older than that. Sure, this is a crazy fact, but even crazier to me is that Jean Stapleton, who plays Edith Bunker, is 1 year older than Carol O'Connor. She looks so much younger than him. So she, on the far right, is 1 year older than him, the guy on the far left. That's crazy. Yeah, she does look way younger. So he was 47, she's 48. And then the new Archie Bunker is like in his late 50s instead of his late 40s. That's crazy. George Duke Harris, another example of this guy was a hockey player. Another example of an athlete who looks way older than he is. Another athlete, yeah, he looks older than 24. No picture there, no picture there, no picture there. Yeah, the last ones didn't have pictures with them. I think they're outdated Twitter posts. Anyway, okay, so you get what I mean about retrospective aging. You've seen some pictures, and I will leave that below, the link below, so you can read about that. So, I have some thoughts on this topic. So, as a general rule, people don't work outside as much as they used to. Yes, some professions like construction and road work, some of those professions, they still work outside quite a bit. But I feel like as a general rule, the average person does not work outside as much as they used to 40, 50 years ago. So this limits or decreases sun exposure. And we all know that sun exposure can damage your skin and lead to premature aging. Also, sunscreen was not super common until, I guess I should have looked this up, but just from, I'm kind of a fan of, older shows and movies and things like that. I feel like, sunscreen wasn't really talked about until like the shows and movies from like the 70s. And then, of course, as time moved along, it got more popular. Another thing that I personally think is cigarette smoking cigarette smoking. I try not to put like my personal thoughts and opinions into too much, but I personally am 110% anti-smoking. I have never touched a cigarette. I had a coworker give me money one time. I was going on a break. She asked me to buy a package of cigarettes. She gave me a 10 and said to, just bring back the change. And I was like, oh, sure, I can do that. I had never like held a package of cigarettes or seen them up close. And yeah, when I got those for her, I was looking at the package and I was like, this literally says this product can kill you. Like nothing, almost nothing says that on it. So anyway, I am like so anti-smoking, it isn't even funny. But yeah, smoking is terrible for you on so many levels. One of the many terrible things it does to you is it creates wrinkles around your mouth. It ages your eye skin, just your overall. It's interesting. And I can make a video on this too if you guys want me to. There was a really interesting study about twins who one smoked, one did not, and like I looked at the pictures and almost all of them, I immediately knew who the smoker was. Like they looked so much older than their twin. Anyway, yes, people still smoke today, but the amount of people that smoke overall is about 15 to 20%. Versus back in like the 1940s or 50s, it was 40 to 50% of people that smoked. So, when you have more people smoking, more people are going to look older sooner. So, just a thought on that. Also, our brains are hardwired to associate old styles with older people. So, if you see someone, a high schooler from the 1980s, maybe wearing a style that many would consider outdated now, you're automatically going to think, oh, they look older because they're wearing an old style, if that makes sense. Skincare innovations. So many people have multiple step skincares. Also, like, I'm not even 30 yet. I'm 28. I'll be 29 later this year. But I use both retinol and bakuchiol, which is I use collagen and bakuchiol. And bakuchiol is a plant alternative to retinol. So I'm not even 30 yet and I'm already using anti-aging products. So I think, just taking care of your skin and looking younger longer, it's part of the culture right now. It's more of a thing than it used to be. So, and I feel like I look pretty good for, I feel like I could still pass for mid 20s. I don't feel like I look like I'm 29. I still feel like I look younger. Anyway, that's besides the point. So things like retinol, collagen, things like that were not as accessible back in the day as they are now. So things like that. Also, people whiten their teeth now a lot more than they used to. And yellow teeth can create the illusion of someone looking older. So some of these things people do to take care of their skin. Plus, I had mentioned sun exposure and sunscreen. That also kind of ties into skincare. So aesthetics, we'll say. And lastly, I'm going to talk about our perception of aging. I feel like we really, as a culture, have embraced this age is just a number mentality, and I think it's a great thing. It helps, you know, it helps people stay younger longer or seem younger longer, if that makes sense. And an example I'm going to use is Rue McClanahan. She played Blanche on The Golden Girls. She was only 51 when she first took on that role, yet she was made to look and was treated as if she was geriatric. Compare her, and I saw this all over the internet at the time it happened, but I think it was the 2020 Super Bowl, I want to say. The Super Bowl where Jennifer Lopez and Shakira had their halftime show. J-Lo was the same age, 51, as Rue McClanahan, 51. So that shows you how our perception of that age has changed so much in 40 years. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again because Vsauce talked about this in his video, and this is super interesting. I want to show you guys this. Sorry, my internet's being slow. Any day now. Okay, sorry about that. I want to show you guys this is like mind-blowing. I'm gonna be like Bowler Hat Guy on Meet the Robinsons. Prepare to be amazed. So I used the Golden Girls example. Someone took pictures of the Golden Girls and they digitally changed them to have modern hair and makeup styles. And you're going to be amazed at how much younger they look. Like, this is crazy. Okay. So, of course, here's the Golden Girls as we know them and love them. Here are the 21st century Golden Girls. Isn't that amazing? Like, especially Betty White. Like, that easily shaves 10 to 15 years off how she looks. Isn't that cool? That's amazing. She looks kind of like, a little bit. She looks a little bit like, oh, Melissa Peterman from Reba. Kind of looks like her daughter-in-law a little bit. Isn't that amazing? I just think that's mind-blowing. Here's all the Golden Girls with a more modern look. Wow. Okay. And then the other thing, there's this show called And Just Like That. Where they did the opposite thing. Hopefully I can find it. They gave them like an old and outdated look digitally. And it really does make a lot of difference. Okay. Sorry, I thought it would be easier to find than this. I think it was this show anyway. I've not seen this show, but because it was like they took an old show, The Golden Girls, and gave them a modern makeover, and then they took a modern show and just like that and gave them an outdated old makeover. And it's so okay. Sorry. Okay, maybe this was it. Because the article was saying that they are the same age as the characters in the Golden Girls. But you can see how much different that age is looked upon. I wish I could find those pictures of the outdated hairstyles. I should have looked this up beforehand. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, if I find that, I will share it somehow. So, that is the topic of retrospective aging. Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to share with you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts and your opinions on this. I feel like I cover most of the bases. As for all those athletes, I feel like, the sun exposure, the cigarette use, all that plays into it. So, yeah. I would like to know you guys' thoughts on this topic. I hope you enjoyed this video and be staying in tune for my second tier of the conspiracy theory iceberg. I'm super excited to continue that series. And if you have any other suggestions for good videos for me to do in the future, let me know as well. All right, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great night. Talk to you later.